Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the launch of Journey to the Skies by Shaikha al-Marri. I'd like to begin today to give you a breakdown of the itinerary, to let you know that we will proceed with an initial introduction. Then I will invite Shaikha to come on stage, where she will share her phenomenal story with us. After which there'll be a question and answer session. Before the question and answer session starts, you will each receive a copy of Shaikha's book, Journey to the Skies. And we look forward to taking your questions and sharing with you this phenomenal journey. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Walid Taib Jabara. I will be your moderator for today. I've had the privilege of reading this book and going through the chapters and sitting down with Shaikha and getting into our head and really understanding what this book actually means to her. And I'm honored to be here with you today to actually share this story. I want to begin with a question. And the question is, if dreams are meant to stay dreams, then what's the point of having them? Surely they exist to be willed into existence. Now, to do that, you're required to work. You're required to show up. You're required to graft. You're required to put in the effort. You're required to fight. And along the way, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get bruises to your ego. You're going to get criticism. You're going to fail, you're going to fall, you're going to cry, you're going to fail, you're going to fall and fail again and again. But to make those dreams into a reality, you have to still rise and still continue to fight. This is the difference between a dreamer and a dream maker. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are sharing the story of a dream maker. This is the story of Shaikha, who had to work hard to realize a dream that she held since she was 10 years old. And through that dedication and that hard work, she managed to manifest this dream into reality at the age of 24. She took her childhood fascination with flight and turned it into a tangible career. She became a licensed commercial pilot, then a first officer in the world's greatest airline. In the process, she also decided to write a memoir and to share that story with us. And with the permission of Shaikha, I will be sharing an extract from the introduction of her book. She writes, "For starters, if you expect a tale of victory at every turn, you will be disappointed. This is not that type of story. You can find that stuff in superhero comics. There is no Miss Marvel here. For the rest of you, looking for something more real, a story of ups and downs, lessons learned, growth and reflection, welcome to my journey to the skies. It is an honest and reflective memoir of a girl who had to work hard, fail, cry, and rise to the challenge to bring her dream into existence. This is my story, a narrative drenched in ambition, personal growth, and the power of familial bonds. And in these pages you will discover a record of events and a tale of enduring love, tenacious will, and the undying support of the people I cherish most. You see, dreams, like flights, have destinations. However, it is the journey with all its ascents, turbulence, and serenity beyond the clouds that endows these dreams with meaning. This story is more than a recounting of milestones. It is an intimate invitation into the tribulations and triumphs of a young Emirati woman who dared to command the sky. As you turn these pages, filled with my musings, snapshots of memories, and watercolor dreams, I hope you will find a fragment of your aspirations mirrored in mine. My tale is a testament to persistence, the embrace of a family, and the heritage of a nation that believes in the power of its daughters as much as its sons. For every person with a dream yet to be fulfilled, for every female pilot who carved their path before me, for my dear father who taught me always to look up, my loving mother who has inspired me, and my brothers who pick me up when I'm down, this is much your story as it is mine. Now let us begin with where every flight does, the moment of dreamy inception before the wheels lift off the ground. So fasten your seatbelt and prepare for takeoff. Our destination, the heart of a dreamer, and the height of ambition, and the joy of flight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sheikh Marri to the stage. Assalamu alaikum.
Hey, Walid.
Please.
Okay, good.
How are you feeling?
I'm good, and you?
Good, I'm feeling good. Good. Well, thank you very much, Shaikha, for being with us here today and sharing this phenomenal journey. I'm sure you're all going to enjoy it when you get your copies later on. So I'm going to start with a question, which is, it's been baffling me a bit, right? So
Yeah.
You're 24 years old. You are a first officer at Emirates Airlines. You have flights on a weekly basis. You have studying to do. You have training to do. You're at the start of your career, so I'm sure there's a lot of stuff basically going on in your life. And yet you decide to share with us this memoir. Why?
Because when I was younger, I first applied for the cadet pilot program at 19. So I was pretty young when I first started. And I did not expect a lot of things when I first joined. It seemed all like glamorous and how everyone thinks pilots have, like the best time at work all the time. But that wasn't the case. So there was a lot of expectations which I had, which was not really there.
Yeah.
A lot of struggles which I faced, and at some point I even thought of a career change at one point. And I didn't realize that it was, really that male dominated. I had to prove myself at a very young age. As I said, I was 19. I was the youngest girl in my batch.
Wow.
Yeah, with 12 guys, so they were pretty much older than me.
Yeah.
I was staying away from home during the week. That wasn't easy because I stayed home. I stayed home pretty much with my family all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want people to understand that no matter how hard it gets, you're going to get there eventually, whether it's going to take you 10 years, 5 years. So this memo was for you guys.
Okay. So you felt that it was almost like your duty to share this story, to warn young people as well in terms of the difficulties between having ambition and the work that is required to basically get there?
Yes, I felt like I had to write something because it did require a lot of work. I had no social life for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, and things weren't easy. I had to do extra work on the side at home after my ground school classes as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people did doubt me along the way, and everyone thought I wasn't going to end up flying a 777 for a living. So I did put the work in, moved abroad as well, as you guys can see in the book eventually.
Don't give too much away.
Yeah, I won't give that away, but I was doubted along the way. Everyone thought I was just going to quit at one point.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never saw the light at the end of the tunnel. So here I am today.
So when I was reading your book, one of the things that you speak about this being a dream from a very, very young age, right? At what point in your life did you decide that this is something that you want to do for the rest of your life? Was there any incident or anything that made you decide that I want to be a pilot, that's it, no matter what happens?
So when I was younger, every Friday we would go to my grandma's house, and she lives bypass the airport. So to my fellow aviators, you guys would be familiar with runway 12 left. It's that highway. My mom would drive me every Friday as well. So whenever she would drive me, and I would just look at the planes take off and land, and I would always get fascinated, and I always wondered what is the science and theory behind flying. So I was always mesmerized at a young age. And in school, I did my internship with Emirates Airlines as well. So I got to see flight operations, cabin crew training as well. And I saw management, which was very interesting. And my supervisor spoke to me about the cadet pilot program, which they did offer for UE nationals. And she was like, if you pass the whole selection process, you'd get a guaranteed job with the airline. And thanks to my uncle Ahmed, who flies a 380, he managed to take me to the simulator as well. So that's when I got the full hands-on experience while taking off and landing, even though I don't fly 380. I fly a 777 now, so thanks to him, he kind of got me into it.
From what I understand, the 777, that's the one that everybody dreams of, right?
I mean, yeah, some people like Airbus, but I'm a Boeing person, you know.
Okay, good. In the book, Journey to the Skies, there's a lot of interesting chapters. As we mentioned in the introduction, it really is a tale of up and downs. You speak about cloudy skies, you speak about challenges and difficulties. The dramatic arc in the book is in a chapter called Vetoed.
Yes.
So if you can share with us exactly what was going through you at that point. I believe your dream was nearly extinguished, you nearly gave up on your dream. It was a very, very tough moment for you. How did you overcome, and what advice would you give young people who want to give up on their dreams as well?
So I think the veto chapter was the most interesting one during my time abroad. I lived in Italy for 3 years, so living there was a bit of a culture shock. I wasn't used to the Italians. They're very loud people as well.
Yeah.
So it was hard adjusting, to the Italian culture. But time went by, and I proved myself to everyone at that school that I was capable of being a pilot. So my advice to everyone who is going through their training initially is to not give up. It might seem hard, but it took me 5 years to become a qualified first officer. And once you get into your conversion training, it's still going to be challenging. So
this was the first time you were actually away from family when you went to...
It was the first time that I lived in a foreign country myself.
Wow.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy for my parents to send me at such a young age.
Yeah.
But they did what they could for me to achieve my dream.
And the challenges that you were facing specifically when you had those difficult moments, was that due to the fact that you were homesick, or what were the issues that you faced that almost nearly derailed your...
I think it was because I'm homesick as well, and I'm not familiar with the Italians, so adjusting to the Italian lifestyle was hard initially. I went to an all-girls school. I wasn't used to talking to guys all the time, and when I came to Emirates as well, I was the only girl in my batch. So that was a bit of a shock for me, and then having to stay away from home. But then I felt like with time, I did get used to it. I had to open up for the sake of my future career and, being a pilot as well.
You mentioned in the book also that it was really, really difficult. So when you came back home, there were moments that you didn't want to leave your room. Talk us through, how did you overcome that specific aspect of it, and what was required to get you back into your program again?
So with the veto chapter, yes, there were some moments where I would cry every night. And I thought at one point there was going to be a barrier between me and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So when that happened, I had to prove to Vito that I was capable of being a pilot. So I got pulled out of the flying program for a while, and I flew with every trainer for a month.
Wow. How many trainers in total?
There were like 10 trainers at the school. I had to fly with each one of them, get a good report. If Vito was satisfied with it, then he would have put me back in the training program.
And did any of these hours go towards your hour building?
None were going back to my hour building. So they were like unnecessary, I would say. It wasn't for me, but it was just for the sake of me getting back into the program.
And then from when you got into the program, back into the program, I believe you sailed through then? It was a very, very clear path in terms of what you wanted to achieve?
After that, I felt like my bond with Vito became better.
Yeah.
So we got closer throughout the days.
Yeah.
And once I got line released from line training, I flew to Bologna, and Vito was the first person there to wait for me for dinner.
So he writes in the book, there's a section in the book where you've collected testimonials from some of the people that shared your journey. And what was really interesting to read was that in the chapter vetoed, he speaks about he did not feel that this was your dream. And he was very, very critical about your performance during that period. At the end of the book, he writes and he says, Shaikha grew as a person and grew as a pilot, and I have full confidence that she will achieve whatever she sets her heart to. Do you feel like that's a kind of a validation of your journey?
It is, because if you guys read the book, you guys will see that I joined Italy as a caterpillar, and I walked out as a butterfly. So I changed so much as a person on a personal level as well. And living abroad did give me, I think it changed me on a personal level, and I became much more independent. So
you'd say that that period that you went through was a blessing in disguise?
It was the best thing, because now I feel like I'm a much more different person. And I changed so much inside out. So I'm really grateful for that instant.
Fantastic.
What
advice would you give young people at the moment who are chasing a dream and have a career?
No matter like how hard the road gets, because I thought I was never actually going to end up on the line flying a 777 with 400 passengers. So it felt so surreal when I passed my line release check and my final line check. So it's to not give up. It took me 5 years to become a first officer. I did fail a lot of simulator sessions as well along the way, but that did not, stop me from continuing. It does require a lot of hard work and dedication. But once you put the work into it, then you're going to be where you want to be.
And what's next for Shaikha Marri? What are the next milestones, next dreams you want to achieve?
I recently became a qualified first officer 6 months ago, going into 7 months now. Finished line training in August. Hopefully I'm seeing a senior first officer in like a couple of years, onto a captain. And I'm doing my degree right now to get a position in management one day and fly on the side.
Can we expect another book?
Well, hopefully, but I mean, I'm really busy for the time being, trying to finish my degree off. And
I'm sure there'll be some amazing stories to tell later on. I want to take everybody through some of the images that we have over here. Shaikha was very, very kind to share some of these personal images. A lot of them you will find in the book. But if you can talk us through some of these images, please, Shaikha.
So, this was me when I was like 6 or 10, I'm not sure. But it was in Kuala Lumpur. I was very naughty at a young age, clearly.
And I can see you pointing to the sky as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of pictures like that when I was a kid,
There's a lot of pictures of you pointing to the sky. And there's one pointing to the sky.
And that's me with my brothers as well. My twin brother next to me when we were younger. And so I felt like I was always a very naughty person, so that's why I am where I am today,
This is an interesting picture. So you are climbing.
Yes. This was in Geneva. I love adventurous things at a young age, so I felt like those were the things that quickly got me into flying as well. Well, blue and a falcon, so it's like two combined into one,
Kindred spirits, both destined to fly, I guess.
Yes. And where I initially started off and had to leave, so.
The standards in Emirates are really high, right?
Even till today, it's really high. I mean, don't expect it to stop at EFTA, You come to Emirates Airlines, the expectations are very high. I mean, that was me doing my aerobatic training. So this was mandatory to do. I had to do this for 3 hours. So I had like the parachute on me and everything.
I'd love to get an understanding how your mother would have felt knowing that you're going up, you have a parachute on.
Oh, my mom did not want to know when I was doing this. She was like, don't tell me, She was so scared. And this was me on my way back to the school after my
And it's the famous image that we have in our...
Yeah, it's in the cover.
So who took this photo?
It was Pascalino. He's my best friend in Italy. So he's a trainer at the school as well. So he was flying back to the school, and we saw each other en route. So
wow, fantastic.
So those are the aircrafts I did my training in, which are the SR-20. I know the people who are in EFTA here are flying the SR-22. And I did my IR rating in that, which is my instrument rating. The blue aircraft is the CAP-10, which I flew for aerobatics as well.
Fantastic.
And that's Pascalino, Shema. I don't know if she's... That's Shema taking pictures of me, and that's me with my trainer.
So Shema was your partner in crime in Bologna?
Yeah, she was my partner in crime.
Yeah.
And that's me in Pasqualino. So he used to keep me company during my long hour building.
So he said something really interesting, and I was reading it in the book. He was talking about how there was a specific maneuver that you guys had to do. It was rough skies, and the base was saying, divert, go somewhere else. He turned around and he said to you, Shaikha, it's up to you. If you want to take the challenge and land in stormy weather, or do you want to basically head somewhere safer? You took the challenge. He was completely blown away. And he writes, he says, I would not have tried that at her experience at that time during my flight school.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite interesting. And this is the non-glamorous part of
I mean,
the
this is
aviation.
nothing, you know, like you come and you do your line training. This is a bit decent, you know.
Yeah.
Line training, you have a lot of things to study prior before going to your flight. So till today, actually,
Wow.
we're going to keep on studying.
Wow, fantastic.
So this is me during my final stages with my multi-engine training.
Okay.
Me and the trainer and my best friend decided to join me that day for fun. The school I went to, which is professional aviation.
Okay. This is an interesting one.
This is an interesting one because my brothers, so he got that suit specifically for that flight. Yes. And my other brother studies in the UK, so he's doing his PhD. They both decided to join me for lunch in Venice. So we spent the day in Venice this day.
Wow.
And we couldn't land in Venice Marco Polo, so we had to land on a grass runway.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
let me get this straight. So they flew from London, and your other brother came from Rome.
Yes,
and they
he
came
lived in
down,
Rome.
And then you took him to lunch at Venice,
Yes, and came back.
and you couldn't land in the airport, so you had to land in the grass?
No, because Marco Polo is usually busy,
Yeah.
but there's, you know, for like local flights and stuff.
Yeah.
So we land on a grass runway most of the time in Italy.
Fantastic.
And this was me flying to Cannes.
Yeah.
I used to fly to the French Riviera all the time during my hour building.
Wow, fantastic.
Yes.
And this is the first time you flew out of country by yourself, correct?
This was the second time, actually.
Second time.
Yeah, the first time I flew to Slovenia with Pascalino.
Okay.
So. And this is for everyone who's going through their training right now. You're going to have to do this eventually before coming on the line. Jet orientation course in MCC. So my support pilot, which is Rahman, he flies for Fly Dubai. And it was in a 737 simulator, so he was pretty much my support pilot throughout my course.
Fantastic.
And this is me and Shema and our best friend, Olga, during our last days in Italy. I took leave for a day. It was just a day.
Wow, so you flew all the way to Bologna just for one day?
Yeah, to attend my graduation and come back, because I was going through my conversion training with Emirates.
Wow.
So I had to like attend my graduation for a day.
Wow, fantastic. And then this one here?
Yeah, so that's Amedeo, Gianluca, and my brothers.
Nice.
And this is when I fully became a qualified first officer. This picture was taken after a long flight from St. Petersburg to Dubai.
Oh, fantastic. So ladies and gentlemen, I think we can take some questions.
Yeah, sure.
Comfortable. So we can open up the floor for some questions. If I can kindly ask the volunteers to please hand out copies of the book for everybody. Just to let you know, there will be a book signing session afterwards. And Shaikha will be more than happy to sign those books for you. Any questions from the audience? Captain Nabil. Yes. Can we have a microphone at the front, please?
Excuse me.
Hi, Shaikha. I'm so happy to attend your this event. It's definitely something for us to be proud of. I'm sure your parents are so much proud of you today. Question to you, just to give a chance for others to ask another question, is that if I take you back 4 or 5 years or 6 years back, would you still take this challenge and pursue this job again and again, looking into the challenges you've gone through, the achievement you have done, and ended up with you being a professional pilot in one of the best airlines in the world? Would you do the same thing again?
Honestly, I would, because I went through a lot, and I thought I wasn't going to end up being a pilot. And I know a lot of people did underestimate me as well. So I worked hard. I did put a lot of hard work, because everyone thought eventually I wasn't going to make it as an ab initio. And going to be, when I was a cadet as well, most of the guys I trained with were AFTA graduates. So that even made me work harder to get to the standard that they were at, because they were familiar with the Emirates SOPs, operational procedures, and I was still getting the hang of it as well. So yes, even if you take me 4 or 5 years back, I would still choose to become a pilot.
Any other questions? Yes, if we can have the mic over here, please. At the front, please.
Sorry, hang on.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
My
salam.
name is Ahmed. I'm proud of you and all of us, me and my family, that you are the Emirati lady who became a captain. And if you are planning to make an academy of training, I will be the first one who want to train under your management.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Over here, please. Excuse me.
First Officer Al-Marri, tell us the worst flight you've had so far.
Oh, the really worst flight?
The worst one. How did you manage it?
So I think I just came back from St. Petersburg when I was a cadet, and I had the Can Use Day, and I was hoping I don't get called, you know? I get a Kuwait turnaround with a standards guy. And everything seemed fine. I always email the trainers 2 days before to let them know what I prepared for the flight. I come into the briefing room, everything seems fine. And it is a standards Brazilian guy, so I think they kind of have a reputation in the company as well. So after the flight, I thought everything went well. I said the parking brake, sorry, it's objective not achieved. So that kind of played with my brain, you know, I was like, everything went well, you seemed okay. Until the parking brake was set at the gate in Dubai, objective not achieved. So then I was like, okay, I hope I never fly with him again. So I think that could be one of the worst flights. I mean, we do have bad flights sometimes with different trainers, but I just let it go, you know. It is what it is sometimes. But if the report is good, then I don't care.
Can I ask, there was a moment that you spoke about in the book about a young girl coming to you. Do you mind sharing that story with the audience? Because I found it really inspiring.
Okay, so this happened during my last month as a cadet before I had my line release check. So I was flying to Mumbai, and the purser comes into the flight deck. He was like, a girl wants to say hi to you with her dad, because when they found out you were an Emirati flying them to Mumbai, they were really proud of you. So he comes and he introduces his daughter to me, and he was like, my daughter wants to be a pilot one day.
Wow.
So he was like, seeing a female Emirati pilot flying us, he was like, I couldn't miss the chance of introducing you to my daughter. So I was like, hopefully she's going to be a better qualified first officer than me in a couple of years.
This is really one of the things that is really important for you, right? To inspire other young women.
Yes, because as I said, I was doubted. Everyone thought I was going to go into fashion.
Yeah.
Or like do business, which I'm not interested in. So I love traveling and I like practical things. So it was two things combined into one. Yeah, and my parents were very supportive. Like, my mom never took me seriously when I wanted to become a pilot. She thought I was joking, but my dad wanted to be F-16 pilot as well. So I think it runs in our blood. My
Well,
uncle
then-
is a pilot as well.
But your mother transformed the minute she realized that you were taking this seriously, right?
Yeah, because at one point I didn't want to continue, you know, and my mom is like, you started it off, you're going to finish it. We used to have arguments all the time because I was crying to her. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. She's like, you're going to finish it off.
How does it feel to have a support network like that around you?
I mean, it's the most important thing. Like, you know, we're 5% females in a male-dominated field. And I'm 24 years old. Like, initially, at first, no one took me seriously when I first started flying. But I did gain a lot of respect from most of the guys that I fly with now. Because at 24, they were actually, trying to get money to support their flight training. But fortunately, I think here, like, we do have programs which helps us as Emiratis. My dad funded my whole training. So, I mean, yeah, we're kind of lucky with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's a lot of questions, but we're going to have to save some of these for later on in the book signing session. We are reaching our limit and there's an event coming in afterwards. First of all, I want to thank the audience. I want to thank everybody for coming today and supporting this young lady with her phenomenal journey and journey to the skies and this amazing story of perseverance and dedication. I want to thank the volunteers and the AV team and the full team at Emirates Literature Festival. Our title sponsor, Emirates Airlines, which I'm sure all of you know very, very well. And we want to thank as well our founding partner, Dubai Culture, and the parent organization, Emirates Literature Festival. As I mentioned, there'll be a book signing, there'll be an opportunity to sit down and speak more with Shaikha, ask her questions directly. And we would be able to do that. I think the room is next upstairs, yes. So to end, Shaikha, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story. It is an extremely brave and courageous thing to do at a young age like this, to be so vulnerable and to share the ups and downs and speak about learning from failure. And I wish you all the success with your career moving forward. And I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that you will have your 4 stripes, you'll be a captain of a Boeing 777 and a management role at Emirates Airlines. Ladies and gentlemen, Shaikha Al-Marri.